Intel Arrow Lake HX Enthusiast Laptop CPU Lineup Leak, Core Ultra 9285HX Flagship with 24 cores, up to 5.5 GHz clocks. Specs of Intel's next-gen Arrow Lake HX Enthusiast CPU family have leaked and will feature the Core Ultra 9285HX Flagship with up to 24 cores. Intel to deploy Arrow Lake HX mobile CPUs for enthusiast gaming laptops, offering up to 24 cores and 5.5 GHz clocks with the Core Ultra 9285HX Flagship and the latest SKU details provided by @JK0. We get to see what Intel's next-gen HX Enthusiast laptop lineup would look like. The lineup will include at least 6 Core Ultra 200 SKUs, all featured within the Arrow Lake HX lineup, and will share a similar die as the desktop SKUs. Following is what you can expect. The 6 Intel Arrow Lake HX CPU SKUs includes the Core Ultra 9285HX, Core Ultra 9275HX, Core Ultra 7265HX, Core Ultra 7255HX, Core Ultra 5245HX, and the Core Ultra 5235HX. Each SKU will have at least 2 configurations which would mainly vary in terms of clock frequencies. So let us start with the top parts first. Intel Arrow Lake HX Core Ultra 9" CPUs. The Intel Core Ultra 9285HX will be the flagship with 8P cores based on the Lion Cove and 16E cores based on the Skymont architecture, totaling up to 24 cores and 24 threads. The chip will feature a base clock of 2.8 GHz for the P and 2.1 GHz for the E cores, while the maximum boost clock is rated at 5.5 GHz for the P cores and 4.6 GHz for the E cores. The maximum all-core boost for the P cores is 5.2 GHz, and you also get an ICPU with 64 reuse and a 2.0 GHz clock speed. The Core Ultra 9275HX only differs in clock speeds with 100 MHz slower boost clocks on the P cores. Intel Arrow Lake HX Core Ultra 7" CPUs. Next up, we have the Intel Core Ultra 7265HX CPU, which is a 8P core and 12E core SKU, offering 20 cores and 20 threads, with a base clock of 2.6 GHz for the P cores and 2.3 GHz for the E cores, while the maximum boost clocks are rated at 5.3 GHz for the P cores and 4.6 GHz for the E cores. The maximum all-core boost on the P cores is rated at 5.1 GHz. The Core Ultra 7255HX will feature 100 MHz slower boost clocks for both the P cores and the E cores. Intel Arrow Lake HX Core Ultra 5" CPUs. Lastly, we have the Intel Core Ultra 5245HX, which will offer 6 P cores and 8 E cores in a 14-core and 14-thread configuration. This chip will operate at a base frequency of 3.1 GHz for the P cores and 2.6 GHz for the E cores, while the maximum boost clocks are rated at 5.1 GHz for the P cores and 4.50 GHz for the E cores. The maximum all-core boost clock is rated at 5.0 GHz. The Core Ultra 5235HX will again feature the same core configuration but cut back on the base frequency for the P core to 2.9 GHz. Intel has previously confirmed that the Arrow Lake CPUs, which scale from desktops to laptops, are on track for Q4 2024. The company is expected to unveil its first Arrow Lake family for desktop PCs next month, so we can expect the Arrow Lake HX Core Ultra 200" lineup to be announced around the same time in later Q4 or early 2025, with CES being the most ideal event as OEMs will have the opportunity to display and demo their next-gen designs. The Arrow Lake HX family will compete with AMD's Fire Range HX SKUs and will also come equipped with the next-gen RTX 50 GPUs from NVIDIA.